Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our weekly Oneg Shabbat here at Gurwin. I hope everyone's doing well. It's exciting time in Gurwin and in the world, as certainly here we're starting visitations. Visitations have already started, and hopefully everyone will see their loved ones very shortly in person. We know there's a rotation, different nights, different days for their residents, and hopefully all those who have visitors who would like to see them will get a chance in the very, very near future. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Ashoreis, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malachei Amlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Asholom, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech Malchei Amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom Malachei Asholom Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malchei Amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom Malachei Asholom Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malchei Amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni L'Shalom Malachei Asholom Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malchei Amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni L'Shalom Malachei Asholom Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malchei Amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeichem L'Shalom Malachei Asholom Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malchei Amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeichem L'Shalom Malachei Asholom Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malchei Amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's now the springtime. As we look around outside, the weather's getting nice, the flowers are blooming, and there's a very interesting mitzvah, a commandment, which I'd like to talk about for a few minutes this morning. It's called the blessing of the trees. It's not a very, very common mitzvah. Many of you may have not even done one of these blessings in your lifetime. It's pretty rare, but I'll explain the following and what the meaning behind it as well. When the month of Nisan comes, the spring comes, we know, as we mentioned before, it's a time for rejuvenation, time for renewal, and we're supposed to find a fruit-bearing tree, a tree that, previously years bore fruit. And right when the tree begins to blossom, which is usually in the month of Nisan, the month we're ending actually right now, the springtime, the beginning of the spring, we go to that tree and we make a blessing on the tree. We thank God for the tree, and we ask God that the same way the tree grows and sprouts to a fully grown tree, so too we should have a year with growth and with happiness as well. And what's interesting to note is that although when we come to the tree, there's very just the beginning of the fruits are sprouting, just being created, we're making the blessing then. And actually, it's actually interesting to note that if you come to the tree and the fruit is already edible, you can no longer make this blessing, recite this blessing. It's too late. And the question is, what do you mean it's too late? Here's the apple that I'm waiting for, the berries that are edible now. Why don't I make the blessing now? And the answer is no, that the blessing is on the potential, on the growth. So we want to specifically make the blessing and thank God for the growth, for the potential of what will be. When something's already done, it's complete. Yes, we thank God for the food and you make a blessing before you eat it, but it's not the same type of request and thanking of God when something is complete, as opposed to when something is in the process and you're asking Him to continue this process. By my house, there's one of my neighbors has a berry tree, and I'll probably be going over there this weekend to make the blessing with my family. L'cha dehodi l'kras kala b'nei Shabbos nekabela. L'cha dehodi l'kras kala b'nei Shabbos nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad. Ishmiyahanu kelam yuchad. Hashem echad u'shmo echad. Shemo sefer esrei l'sila. L'cha dehodi l'kras kala b'nei Shabbos nekabela. Likra Shabbat Gurwin Healthcare Ki Mikar Habiracha Meirosh Mikedem Nisuchas Av Maseh B'Machshavat Chila Chadodi Likras Kala Pnei Shabbos Nekam V'la Mikdash Melech Ir Melucha Hu Mitzi Mitocha Havecha Rav Lach Shavet Mimgabacha Hu Yachamol Allah Yechem La Lecha Dodi Likras Kala Pnei Shabbos Nekam V'la Yamin Usmal Tifrotzi V'yes Hashem Taritzi Al Yad Ben Yishabez Halach Mikarvo El Nafshi Yahala Lecha Dodi Kras Kala Pnei Shabbos Nekam V'la V'avi B'shalom Ateres Bala Gaberi Naovet Sahala Tochem Uneyam Segula Bawi Kala Chadodi Likras Kala Pnei Shabbos Nekabilam. In this week's Torah portion, Parshat Shmini, we speak about the different types of animals, the kosher animals and non-kosher animals, birds, fish, and some of these signs that we have, there's certain signs which are given. A kosher animal has to have split hooves, has to chew its cud. Fish have to have fins and scales. Birds have no specific signs, but there's really a list of which birds are kosher or not. And the question is, what do some of these kosher signs mean? Is there any deeper meaning to them that we can learn a lesson for why certain things are kosher and certain animals may not be kosher? So we know one of the things mentioned by birds specifically is that the bird cannot be a bird of prey. If the bird is a bird of prey, such as vultures, eagles, birds that attack maybe not an eagle, but vultures for sure, ravens, they attack. So these are animals we want to stay from. Because we believe, philosophically, if an animal is an animal which is a hunting type of animal, that's not a characteristical trait we want in ourselves. We want to be hunters for others. We don't want to attack others. So we specifically look for birds to eat which are not hunters, which birds eat vegetation, birds that don't go ahead specifically hunting for no reason. In terms of the animals, so as we mentioned, kosher animals have split hooves, and animals chew the cud. Cow is the most common animal, kosher animal. Goat, lamb, sheep, even deer is kosher. Quite expensive venison meat, but it's certainly a kosher animal. Giraffe, these are all kosher animals. And the question is there any hidden meaning behind this idea of split hooves, having its hoof really go into two parts? And well, chewing its cud. Chewing this cud means basically that it eats its food and it's able to digest it in a certain way, that it keeps digesting it over and over again multiple times until it breaks it down completely. And one of the messages behind this is that we shouldn't be complacent. We should always try our best to give a little bit more. The same way the animal chews its cud over and over and over again, and the same way the animal with split hooves, it has 4 hooves, it has 4 legs, but each of the 4 legs has 2 components to it. It represents sometimes the effort that we need in life. Sometimes it's hard to give the little extra effort to make that 4 legs into 8 legs, to split the hooves, or to continue chewing our cud, which representing work that we have to do in our hand. But ultimately we know that any hard work we do is appreciated by God, appreciated by others, and this is some of the lessons that we learn from the kosher animals and non-kosher animals in this week's portion of the Torah. Adon Olam Asher Molach B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'ez Nasa B'Chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'Yacharei Kechlos HaKol Levahado Yimloch Nahora V'Haya V'Hoveh V'Yihye B'Sifara V'Hu Echad V'Ein Sheni Laham Shila Lahach B'Hinra V'Li Reishes V'Li Sachlis V'Lo Ha'od Laham Yisra V'Hu Keli V'Chan Goali V'Tur Chevli V'Yet Nasa V'Unisi Umanosli Minas Kosi V'Yom Ekra V'Yahado Avkid Ruchi V'Yezishan V'Yahira V'Yim Ruchi G'V'Yasi Ado Shemli V'Lo Ira. And we should have a happy and healthy weekend. Good Shabbat. We'll see everybody next week.